What is up, guys? For today's watch review, we're taking a look at the Invicta Speedway Beast, or model number 34823. Let's get right into it. For price, on the Shop HQ website, you can find it for $270. However, they are regularly dropping 20 to 25% discount codes, so you can easily find it for a lower price as long as you're willing to wait. For dimensions, we're looking at a case diameter of 47.4 millimeters or 52.7 if you include the crown. The thickness is 17.2 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 58.8 millimeters, and a lug width of 33.7 millimeters. The Beast is definitely a chunky watch, coming in at 308 grams or 10.86 ounces. And here's how it sits on my 7.5 inch wrist. The Speedway Beast comes with the Seiko VK63 Quartz movement. So what you're going to get with that is an hour and minute hand and a date window and 3 subdials as well. For the subdial, starting from left to right, you've got the chronograph subdial, your running second hand, and then the 24-hour AM PM subdial. For accuracy, the VK63 averages 20 seconds or plus or minus 20 seconds per month, and it's going to last you around 3 years before you need to change the battery. And that's based on assuming that you're going to be using the chronograph for 60 minutes every day. So with that being said, if you don't, which most of us don't, your battery is going to last much longer. Case and bracelet material is stainless steel, and in this case you're getting a tunnel style case, which just means that it's shaped like a barrel. On the left and right hand side of the case, you've got these carbon fiber plates, and to me they look like brake caliper covers. If you look closer, you can see that those plates are securely fastened to the case by some screws and spring-loaded tension. The springs give off the impression that these plates are supposed to do something more, when in reality they are purely aesthetic. But I think it makes the overall appearance really fun and exciting. On the right hand side, you've got pump style pushers, and in between those pushers there is a push-pull crown. And going to the very back, there is a caseback that is secured by 4 screws. And then coming back to the very top, you've got the flame fusion crystal, applied indices, and then applied lume on all of the indices and hands. And this entire package is inside a case that provides 50 meters of water resistance. For a watch that I would consider to be more of a show watch, the lume application is surprisingly way more practical than many other tool watches I've worn. I like how all of the indices and hands glow as they should, because usually on showy timepieces like this, they leave that part out. The fact that they placed the date window further inside was also a smart design choice, as it does not require the removal of an indice. As far as duration goes, that's a different story. It's not going to last you through the night, but it'll last long enough until you drift off into sleep. If a watch has a black mother of pearl dial, you can reasonably expect that I'm going to want to get it. What I absolutely love about black mother of pearl is that it introduces an entirely different element of color while still remaining a quiet wingman to the overall watch design. It doesn't overpower anything while still making a powerful impact. From a quick glance, you would think the Speedway has a regular black or navy blue dial, but when you get a second to enjoy it, you are graced with the beautifully subtle color shifts that play with the light perfectly. The chromed outline of the indices accentuate the light play and also create a smoother transition from the case to the dial. The benefit of having such a large case is that nothing feels too cluttered either, so you can have all of these subdials here without smothering the mother of pearl finish that I love so much. Speaking of the subdials, if you're familiar with Seiko chronographs, then you will feel right at home here, as they use the same exact movements in many of their models. 24-hour subdials are always a nifty little indication, especially when adjusting your date window, so I'm glad that it's incorporated here as well. Functionally, everything works as it should. The pump style pushers are easy to access while providing a satisfying pop when depressed. I actually like how they are orthogonally placed in relation to the case as opposed to being at a slight angle. A good design choice on Invicta's part. The crown has a knurled texturing which also fits well with the overall theme and does provide an excellent gripping surface. The pushers and crown are signed, with the pushers having a crosshatch design signature and the crown having the Invicta cross. I would say my one and only gripe here is the fact that they went with a push-pull crown and not a screw-down crown. I get that it's not a dive watch, but I will always prefer a screw-down crown all day, every day. The proprietary bracelet is a two-piece WH link system, which I'm not even sure if that's an official name or if I just made that up, but anyways, it looks like a cross between an H-link bracelet and beads of rice bracelet. Because the center link interconnects with the main link, it creates the illusion of there being several pieces, so I think that was a bit of a clever design trick. We have a mirror polished finish on the presentation side and a brushed finish on the inside. They went with a push button butterfly clasp, and even though I despise butterfly clasps, I acknowledge that it does fancify the bracelet. I also acknowledge that the circular finishing pattern is beautifully done. The bracelet employs the pin and collar adjustment system, so just something to research how to do properly if you've never done it before. Not much to discuss here, just a plain Jane caseback with your boilerplate Invicta information. But there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes simple is the best way to go, and in this case I think it's acceptable. What's not acceptable is laser etching. What are we, amateurs? It's the 21st century. Laser etching on watches should be illegal. With the exception of the inside, the entire watch is covered in a mirror polish. There's no denying that the Speedway Beast was meant to attract attention, so I understand the logic behind this choice. To that end, it's done well with smooth surfaces all around and no rough edges. But could you imagine how killer it would be if they made a version with a fully brushed finish? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you know, if you know me, you know I'm all about brushed finishes. As always, there's pros and cons to any watch. I think for the most part, I really like what's going on here. The tonneau style case conforms to the wrist comfortably. So even though many would consider this to be a large watch, it wears better than some watches much smaller in size. It also gives it a look that lives up to the Speedway name, as the curved aerodynamic shape paired with the carbon fiber plates just looks like the amalgamation of something that's meant to go down racetracks at breakneck speeds. I've already mentioned most of the things that I don't like, such as the butterfly clasp and mirrored polish, but those are purely subjective. For those of you that like large attention-grabbing watches, this is going to be right up your alley. One thing that I think many would agree with is it would be great to see this in an automatic version. Variety is the spice of watch collecting, and having the choice to pick quartz or auto is always a welcome addition. All in all though, I think it's great, and so far I've been happy with my purchase. Invicta watches always are a blast, and this is no exception. I know there's a bunch of different color variations too, so if this watch is something you like, there's going to be a version that matches your style just right. But that's all I gotta say for now. I hope you enjoyed this review. I always enjoy making them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Alright, bye.